To the final here at the Corona Bali Protected, and he'll take on the winner of the next heat, either Kelly Slater or Kanoa Igarashi, as things will get started quickly. Kelly pulling in under the hood, traveling, and gets the exit. Slater into a rapid cutback, starting right at the buzzer to put pressure right onto Kanoa Igarashi to kick off the heat. Impressive start for Kelly, driving off this emotion and rhythm that he's had, which has been special from some crazy heats throughout this contest, from Michel Perez, that powerhouse who had made 2 finals at Karamas in his career, to getting past Toledo, who's the guy to beat anytime it's high performance. Now he's got a shot at Kanoa with 29 minutes on the clock. We'll take a quick break. Finals day continues as we bring in Ronnie Blakey and Luke Egan for the call right after this.
I just want to take it to him. I want to go hard. I want to push as hard as I can.
There's been a lot of things beforehand I've been working on just mentally to get to that place. All that, I just felt like it was in my favor. It just felt right.
Ever since I started surfing, I wanted to surf against Kelly, you know?
How good is this? Finals day here at the Corona Bali Protected. Kelly Slater up against Kanoa Igarashi, who's pushing hard after Kelly got a great start, a 6.67 on his first ride. And looking to line up a backup number here, having a look down the line. But opts out of this one. Ronnie Blakey with a man that spent a number of years on the championship tour competing against Kelly Slater. And Luke, this just feels like Kelly's got some great momentum. He looks super relaxed, doesn't he?
Sure does. See up and riding, taking a look at that one. For a big air reverse. Ooh, landed on the board there, Kanoa. He's just got to be careful.
Yeah, pushing it hard, really trying to put some pressure on Slater. Great to have your company if you're joining us on Fox Sports. The greatest of all time, the 11-time world champ, who continues to just break through the ceiling of what is possible and give us mind-blowing performances, is up against one of the young guns on the championship tour in Kanoa Igarashi. This is a big heat. Kelly Slater, he has had such a tough road to get to this point, this semi-final heat. Kanoa's run through the draw, not quite so difficult. We'll get into that a little later. Ronnie Blakey with Luke Egan, a former championship tour surfer, and Luke, we're witnessing something pretty spectacular here.
Yeah, Kelly Slater, we knew he'd give us a stellar performance sometime in 2019, and here it is. Karamas, you know, it's all coming together. Tide's coming in, swells come up today. There's some really good tube rides out there. The stats show that Kelly Slater is one of the best, still one of the best for so long in the tube, and the conditions have played right into his hands to make the semi-finals so far in this event. Both
these surfers will be making a big jump up the leaderboard. Kelly Slater, the biggest mover after stop number 2 down at Bells Beach with a quarterfinal finish there. He jumped 19 positions. With a semi-final finish at worst, he's going to be getting right up to the top end of the Jeep leaderboard. But you look at his results, he's just building nicely. You can tell he's starting to get some confidence. 33rd at the very first stop. Quarterfinals down at Bells, and now here into the semis. This is going to be exceptional. Hasn't had a victory since 2016 over in Tahiti. But the way he's surfing at the moment, he looks like he could go on to the win here.
He could. There's only two more heats to win, and he could have broken the drought of a few years of getting the #1 spot.
Well, Kanoa's had a couple of attempts at some pretty explosive first turn options. He said he wanted to really push hard and surf out of his skin. But he's got to remember what got him to this point in the competition.
Exactly, Ron. Like, just watching those first couple of waves, I'm a little worried that Kanoa thinks he needs to produce more against Kelly Slater, but you want to build into what you've achieved so far in the contest. Just get your performance level to what you've replicated every heat that's warranted you being in the semi-finals, then push hard. And just on those first couple of waves, it just showed me a couple of signs that Kanoa trying to put the pedal to the metal, which is great, but don't forget, replication of what he's done to get himself into this position is very important to build from that.
Well, looking at their run through to this point in the competition, Kanoa started off with the lowest heat score total of the first round, but really rebounded well in the elimination round. Top scoring above the entire field in that elimination round to earn his place in round 3. He's been dropping solid numbers ever since, the best of them coming in the round of 16. But moving through to the quarterfinals, Igarashi got ahead of Adrian Buchan to meet Kelly Slater here on the top side of the draw. You can see Jeremy Flores. He's done very well to get himself through to the final. But Slater's run is probably the toughest of everyone in that quarterfinal bracket from the very first seeding round. Came up against Ryan Callanan and Kaloa Andino, got the jump on the boys there. Then Owen Wright, who'd been doing great surfing. Perhaps the biggest hurdle he had to overcome was the most consistent performer at this venue over the past 2 contests here. That's Michel Perez. And he put in a good effort there, but there was a lot of hype around his quarterfinal heat up against Felipe Toledo, and he surfed it so well.
Yeah, he did. We had a few days off competition, and yeah, talk is cheap. There was a lot going on, but then you know, all the chatter stops once you hit the water, and what was a great heat to watch. But Kelly just in tune. The conditions for me have given Kelly an edge today. He's been so good in the tube ride throughout his career, and there's some good ones out there today. Tide coming in a little bit. We're going to see the end section of Karamas come into play a little bit more than it has been through the morning with the lower tide. And finishing with good manoeuvres is going to be key to get yourself in the final to meet Jeremy Flores.
Well, have a look at the crowd building down here at Commune on the beach at Karamas, watching this event play out. It's the last day of the event window. We're being blessed with the best conditions that we've seen. Some real size in the lineup. And this is going to be fun to watch unfold. Just one head-to-head heat for these two in the past. And it was Kanoa getting the jump on Kelly Slater. And interesting to note where that unfolded. It was at the Pipe Masters. And here goes Kanoa now, locked in super deep. Does his best to try and punch through that clamping curtain there, but can't quite find it. And out the back, Slater with priority is going to get a shot at a pretty sizey looking wave here. Already has that 6.67. Starting to find his place in the lineup for potentially another big number here. Straight into the barrel, over the foam ball. Still pushing. Can't find his way through. But he spent a lot of time wrestling the foam ball inside that wave.
He sure did. That was a very deep, committed barrel for Kelly Slater.
There is no question that equipment has been a big factor in the elevation of Kelly's performance through this event. He's looked so sure-footed on these Aquila Hyper shapes.
Yeah, he sure has. Talking to Aquila earlier today, it's a 5.8 by 18 and 5/8 by 2.32 is the thickness. Aquila's saying a low rail line with a fairly low rocker with a pretty simple single barrel concave is what Kelly's riding. And this is the first attempt for a board for Kelly Slater since 1994, since they put a single fin together for Kelly to ride. So that was not a bad first go at getting a good board under Kelly's feet.
So close to powering over the water on that occasion. It would have been the barrel of the event had he come out. Just under 19 minutes to go. Slater up against Igarashi. Well, let's check in with our finalists here at the Corona Bali Protected. He's with Rosie Hodge.
Jeremy, into the final, standing on the beach before your heat, getting ready to paddle out. The waves are absolutely firing. How do you contain the froth?
Oh, you try to just breathe and You know, a lot of time when it's good like that, you get overexcited. So I was trying to just breathe and think, all right, just another heat. Waves are okay when it's actually firing. There was a few heats before, and there was so many perfect waves on Reedon, and me and Kelly would just look at it going, oh my God, like look at this wave, look at that wave, and this and that. So we couldn't wait to get in the water. I think, yeah, I was really excited to paddle out.
And paddling out in that final, we've got Kanoa, we've got Kelly in the semi-final. Who would you prefer to match up against?
Oh, they're both my friends. You know, Kanoa's my friends. Kelly is my longtime friends. I kind of hope it's Kelly. It'd be amazing to have a final with him. We've had some great battles over the years, and he's the man. You know, he's the legend. So it would be an honor to have a final with him.
And lastly, I mean, from day one of the event to going to the last day of the waiting period, it's been a long one. So how great is it to be in that final, and how are you going to prepare?
Yeah, it's been long. It's been so many calls, waking up 5 in the morning. I'm actually not used to doing that. So I've been here, you know, I've been here surfing, free surfing every morning and stuff amongst everyone. And everyone's like, whoa, Jamie, what's going on? I was like, I'm just trying to do the right thing for once, you know, and I guess it's paying off. So I'm stoked, and hopefully, you know, one more hit. I just hope the wave stays like that and we have a great final with plenty of barrels. You know, this is what we surf. This is why we're on this tour.
It's all worth it. Jeremy Flores, we'll see you in that final.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rosie. Back to live action now. And Kanoa Igarashi with priority picks this one off. Nice big hook off the top, chasing a 7.07 to get ahead of Slater here. Mixing things up, getting some release in the tail, belting the pocket on the inside, and bounces over that oncoming section. There's the claim. And Kanoa puts one together here, Luke Egan.
That's what we wanted to see, Ron. Kanoa replicate the fantastic performances he's been doing all week long to get himself here in this semi-final against Kelly Slater. Some great open turns, and what we haven't seen too much in these bigger conditions is a combination of turns. A lot of speed off the bottom, big carve out at the top and going straight to his toe edge and getting out of the lip one more time. This wave cooperating for a third big hit, and how about a fourth? So the inside there, you can see the reef getting a little bit more water on it and settling it down. Kanoa coming off the bottom, just trying to get the timing perfect to carve around, puts a little bit more in it. This board is getting close to the red line though. It's starting to max out what it can do with the extra size and power, but he's harnessing it very well. Still going for that fin above the lip style turn and a lip glide on the inside, and he's evened up this matchup, and he's pretty stoked about it too.
Recomposed himself and put together a couple of great turns there. He needs a 7.07 to jump up into the lead. He's the grommet left in the field here on finals day. This is a very experienced field remaining for contention here at the Corona Bali Protected. If Kelly Slater can make the final, looking at the men's and women's events, there'll be 64 years of championship tour experience, with Sally Fitzgibbons taking on Stephanie Gilmore in the women's final. And Sal is preparing to get out there, but 15 minutes remaining. Time flies when you're having fun, Luke, and this matchup, it's exceptional. Big numbers starting to roll through for Kanoa Igarashi. He should get the number he needs to jump up into the lead here. But Strider, what a lineup. Kelly Slater getting back to his best, but Kanoa Igarashi is definitely not going to lay down. He just dropped the 7.67 to move into the lead.
Yeah, he paddled by and he had a big smile on his face with the smirk. He said the first turn was a little bobbly, but the rest were on, and he was stoked about it. He was kind of commenting it could be anywhere from a 5 to a 7, but he got the number he needed. On another note, Kelly Slater riding that last tube, you know, foam ball riding. You could see him underwater for a really long time, and on the way back out, you could see a nice little cut on the back of his head, so his board whacked him pretty well underwater, and he had a little bit of a blood drip coming off the back of his head. So we'll see if that affects him out here. I don't think so. He was so fired up paddling back out. He's ready to rip into another one. Interesting note, probably one of the only guys today that didn't bring out a step up. He's on that same little blade that he's been loving.
Oh, it is looking really comfortable under his feet too. Really sure-footed. I think Kelly's just got that confident groove with this board. I don't think it would sort of change his mindset even if it was a couple of feet bigger than it is now?
No, and it's had, the board's had a lot of hold the whole week, and right now with the bigger conditions, that's the best thing you want your board to be able to do. You still want to attack, even though there's more power and steepness and size out there. You still want to be able to step on that tail and push it as hard as you possibly can and show that you're still attacking these bigger sections. And I think Kanoa's board then, he was nearly maxing out what it's going to handle, but his timing made up for it for some fantastic turns, and yeah, he's just put it to a fantastic matchup for that first exchange.
Well, just under 13 minutes to go here. Kanoa Igarashi has moved into the lead, but the 11-time world champ is still within reach, chasing just a 2.34. Great timing if you've just joined us. Kelly Slater out there in the lineup, up against Kanoa Igarashi, who's out in front and trying to get rid of a 1.33 to increase his lead over Slater. He's probably already done that, really working this wave over on the inside now. Tactically, this guy is so sharp, 21 years of age, just his 4th year on the championship tour. But Luke Egan, he's starting to look really confident competing at this level.
Yeah, with that first score coming through, Kanoa identifying that he needs to get some open face turns and he can capitalise on it. Good timing out of the lip there and coming around. He's feeling that board's starting to max out, so he's working on his timing to try and place it in the most critical part of the wave, and finishes off a smart move getting that one on the way out. But I don't know who he's talking to there, but he needs some good advice against this guy.
He does. Kelly Slater's waited for some time to tap into this one. Big bowling pit. And Kelly's going to find the exit. Well, his borders look so drivey through those big cars, but just loses the rail for a moment, but recovers well on the inside and gets shacked again. And he'll punch through and get the completion right there on the inside.
Yeah, Kelly, just a bit of a bobble on that turn, a couple of nice tube rides. And I think he turned the board out of the middle. I don't think it was the board maxing out, but he's just so good at this, turning and straight into the pit, coming out and just a little bit front-footed on that turn there, and managing himself to weave back into the double up and sees this little opportunity again and stalls for a second pit on that one to finish off.
It is firing out here for the semi-finals. Kelly Slater is looking for a pretty decent number now. Kanoa Igarashi just dropped a 7.4. On the lookout for another finalist, Jeremy Flores, waiting to see who he's going to come up against. Will it be Kelly Slater, the 11-time world champ, or Kanoa Igarashi? Great to have your company on Fox Sports. Waiting on scores to come through for Kelly Slater's last ride. 2 big barrels. Made the point that Kelly skipped out on the carve between those 2 tube rides. But when we had a look at the replay, Luke, you could see there was quite a few bumps on that face. The wave was really shouldering out and Kelly was pushing hard because he knows he has to.
Pushing hard, but he got the board just on the wrong side of the bump there, and it made him put too much pressure on his front foot. But as the GOAT does, he regained and managed to smoothly S himself into the inside for a second pit. But Kanoa Igarashi just building on what's got him here today. All week he's been going to the face with some big turns and some aerials which we haven't seen yet, which probably, Ron, now that he's got a couple of 7s in the bank, he'll probably have to be going for the air.
It does feel like it's going to be Kelly's best ride. We're seeing the numbers starting to roll through now. It's going to average out pretty nicely. Won't get him the lead, but will chip away at the requirements. Slater drops a 7.17 and now needs a 7.9. And you can't help but think there was, some points lost on that turn in transition to get through to the inside. The tubes have been scoring reasonably well, even on the smaller days. So now that there's some size out there, Kelly with a good barrel ride has an opportunity here.
Sometimes coming out of the barrel, Karamas can trick you to drive out on your toe edge and get out on the face, but you actually want to go straight to your heel edge and get a carve done straight away. But how perfect was this timing? Big chandelier coming over there and coming out. Where we see Kelly should have turned. To see that little bump there, he just does so well to handle it. When he mistimed that that little bump in the wave, and I like the way he just flows nicely into the next section. Arm drags again and goes for the second barrel. But Kelly will adjust from that little hiccup on that wave, still getting a 7.17, and in the middle of the wave, kind of didn't get it right, so this heat is still anybody's.
The scales really lifted here on finals day with the conditions improving. And Kanoa Igarashi's been scoring pretty well throughout the earlier rounds. But Kelly, you know, he surfed some waves brilliantly early on and didn't really turn in massive numbers. But I think he's got to have faith that he can actually match it with Kanoa with some huge rail turns too, and he might go for a few here. Wild top turn there, drifts the fins. But I really feel that Kanoa's surfed his waves brilliantly, but he really knifes through his turns. Kelly, when he decides to drop that rail in, if he can get some of those big thudding frontside hacks happening, he could match it with Kanoa.
I'll tell you right now, after that wave just then, we saw Kelly Slater come off the bottom. Instead of going straight up into the foam, I'd like to see him chase down some green open face, because we've seen, even though this turn is just amazing, puts a little slide in there. Kelly Slater on the tail of this board in green open face and turning it as hard as we can. We saw him do a layback snap earlier in the week that was one of the best turns of the week. So I'd like to see him just do that, and he could match Kanoa and get up into the same scoreline with a couple of combinations of big open face green turns.
Well, Slater, 27 years on the championship tour, and his worst finishes on the ratings have been the last couple of seasons, but broke his foot at Jeffreys Bay in 2017, only served 5 events, so fell down to 28th. And then last year, only 3 contests for Slater, but he did semi-final in 2 events. So even though he didn't get a big finish on the leaderboard, he really did put together a couple of great events. Kanoa Igarashi, though, he's been building nicely and was super inspired to come up against Slater as we dive into the recap now.
Yeah, Kanoa doing some great turns there. My feeling is the board's nearly maxing out on the size and the power of the bigger conditions today, but his timing is putting it in the right spot and really maximising the score out of the sections. On the way back out, got this second wave, just absolutely getting the steepest part of the wave and knifing it around and finishing off this wave here, and that got him into the lead in this heat in the water against one of his heroes, Kelly Slater. Arm drag into a beautiful tube ride, gets himself in the perfect position, gets through that chandelier, pops out a little bit on that chop, but flows into this inside with nice S-turns.
Well, back to live action. Kanoa Igarashi with priority takes this one from Slater. And he is really feeling confident now, throwing everything at that section. This wave's going to run out of wall. But impressive stuff on that outside section. And obviously prevented Kelly from turning in a big number there. 4 minutes remaining here. Things working out pretty nicely for the youngster. Really rising to the occasion here. When you look at the surfers that Kelly overcame on his run to this heat, Luke, you can't help but think that some of these rivals earlier on are carrying some mental scar tissue from all the heats that they've had against Kelly over the years. Kanoa only won a head-to-head heat, and he was victorious in that battle.
Yeah, he was, and look at this turn. Kanoa just gaining more confidence. Absolutely incredible. That wave only getting one opportunity really to maximise some points. And he's checking the board if he's got any creases in it.
And he's just really worked his way into a powerful position now. Started this heat off looking so shaky, almost over-amping. We heard him after his quarterfinal win, just how excited he was to get the opportunity to surf against Kelly in what could be Kelly's last year on the championship tour.
I'll tell you what, it's not over yet. A 7.90, the requirement for Kelly Slater. And to me, the tide looks absolutely perfect right now. If some opportunity comes for a nice tube ride on the outside and a big green open face carve by Kelly Slater, he's so in the game right now, even in the dying minutes.
Well, he has been into the semi-finals a couple of times in his career. Any idea how many semi-final heats he surfed, Luke?
Is it triple figures?
It is triple figures.
Okay, there you go.
119 now with this effort at the Corona Bali Protected. Amazing. And this is just Kanoa's 6th. Granted, he's in the early stages of his career, but he's going to have to work hard to get to that number. As we see Slater tucked in. And there is just an ability to continue to power through foamy sections inside a barrel that, you know, not a lot of people can do. But Slater's starting to get a bit desperate now, 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, he had to have a go at that wave. I was feeling as well that it was going to draw some water off the face and give him a good barrel opportunity, but unfortunately it pinched. But Kelly, we haven't seen that green open face turn that we saw him do against, I think it was Michelle Perez, that layback snap that went around the world on social media and everywhere, which was the first sign of Kelly Slater really gelling with this board and showing us the performances that he's done for many years.
Motivation is always a big thing for Kelly. You know, he's been doing this for such a long time. He's got to tap into something in order to get on a bit of a roll. And Luke, I know it's a tough time for yourself, for Kelly, and for a lot of people out there, fans of surfing. Sonny Garcia, he's fighting at the moment. And it feels like Kelly's really put in something special just to honour his friend.
Yeah, he's drawing from that to put some goodness into Sonny's fight, so that's awesome. And Kelly, yeah, he's so good at turning a negative into a positive, and that's what he's doing out there with a fantastic performance here at Karamas.
Sonny Garcia's family actually has a GoFundMe page set up, and you can make a contribution to that. He's got a lot of medical bills coming his way, and any help would be greatly appreciated. But Kelly Slater, he's not going to give up just yet. 7.9 is a requirement for the 11-time world champ to get the jump on Kanoa Igarashi. The thing working against him at the moment is priority. 25 seconds to go. Slater eyeing one off on the inside. Kanoa's taking no chances. So sharp tactically. Has Jake Patterson, a former championship tour surfer, in his corner. And he's going to rip this one apart. Unlikely it'll go into his top 2. He looks over his shoulder and Slater's out the back and straight into the pit. Just a quick cover up. Needs to really rip in on this wave and forces a turn. He can't ride out. Igarashi has gotten the job done here and dropped a couple of decent scores. It was a close one though, Luke. Not much separating these two when you look at the numbers.
You might better a score on that last wave as well. Some beautiful turns out of the lip. For me, it seemed like his timing just got better and better throughout that heat. Keeps looking at the deck of that board, which is unfortunate for the final if that board's got a crease in it, but I'm sure he's got another one sitting up there ready to go.
An amazing effort from Kanoa Igarashi. Head-to-head, he takes it to 2-0 against Kelly Slater. And he is going to be taking on Jeremy Flores here at Karamas. But stay with us, because after the break, Sally Fitzgibbons and Steph Gilmore will fight it out for the title here at stop number 3.